me to recreate something from RPG history in Darkhaven's world building editor tools. And I'm not one to easily let a challenge go, so let's give it a try. Let's see if we can do it. I think we can. It doesn't look super difficult, but you know, there's certain things I won't be able to do just because right now the way the world works in Darkhaven, I can't create a space that with a roof that you can go inside of. But we'll do our best to recreate it as well as we can, and we'll let the community be the judge if I succeeded or not. So this is what we're targeting here today. Going to be recreating Lum Castle from RuneScape. I think I can do this, but we're going to find out. So I've got a little bit of a start here. I've built up a hill that we're going to build it on. And we got our little starting spot right over there. So we are going to construct or attempt to construct this castle right here on this ground. And let's see, I got to get my reference image up here. Okay. So where to start? Where to start with this? I think it's going to be the base structure. So let's see. I think we're gonna... The angled walls could be a little bit difficult too. They might look a little janky because we're building in cubes here, but we'll see. The first thing I'm going to do is get the editor out and build the basics for it. I'm gonna make sure I leave myself enough room for the towers over here. You know what? I gotta move. I gotta get more centered in the map here. Let's just clear out some of these problem children before we get started. Not anybody blowing up bricks while I'm trying to build. Some of that. We can put more trees in later if we need to. All right. So we're going to want to build this towards the back of the hill because I built a big hill. But the first image I saw of this before I built this was only the top part of the castle. It didn't have the wall around the outside and the front gate. So I don't think I left myself enough room over here to do that. So I think we're going to have to chop off some of the front of this hill. So we're going to start building as close as we can to the back of this hill. No, I can't resize that. And I can't move it either. Okay. It is what it is. This is what we got to work with. So first thing we're going to do is get out our handy little selector tool. I got to remember, I've got to leave myself enough room for towers. So, well, I guess I can always extend the ground if I have to. I got to get the proportions of the thing right first. That looks like it could work. Take off one more strip to get those front angles right. All right. So, all right, we've got a beginning of that. Let's do... I think the cobble's going to be good for this. Nope, that's not what I want. Where is what is it called? Oh, I'm in units. I need... Yeah, there we go. Cobbled wall. I think that's going to be appropriate for this. All right, and let's see. We'll go with... I'm not sure for the towers. Maybe 4? Let's hide that for a second. Good. We can always bring it back if we need to. Oh, we need to know where it is, though. All right. So there-ish. I guess I can always redraw this. Or maybe... Are those... No, they're not the same height. They're higher. That whole back wall is higher. Okay. Just gonna jaw on this for a second because if once I start putting stuff down, if I need to change it, it can be difficult. It can be hard to get stuff leveled again if you don't apply it in one swoop. Is this gonna be big enough to put those other layers on top? I don't think it is. Honestly. I think what I need to do... Alright, I'm gonna give myself a marker here. Alright, so let's get rid of this for now, because that's gonna actually be problematic. We also want to remember at the end of the day, we want to be able to get this thing in a shot, so we can't go too big with it. We got the scale. I'm zoomed out as far as I can, so this is the biggest possible scale we have to work with here. Let's set this to level. All right, that is a pretty freaking massive. All right, that is freaking gigantic. All right. So I think what we'll do is we'll just put down a kind of a marker for ourselves. Oh, you know what? I think that sometimes works, but let's also just say this is always going to be the middle of the day. Okay, we don't need nighttime monsters coming in. Oh, fog. Oh my god, look at all these monsters. Good lord. Okay. Okay, good. It is working. All right, that's fine. Okay. let's get rid of some of those trees that are in the hill. Okay. So that kind of gives us, man, it's so hard with this. All right. Just gonna give myself a reference point for creating these towers. It's weird. Sometimes when I do this, it fills the whole area, and other times I have to manually add them. I'm not really sure what the distinction is of when the whole area gets covered versus when I have to brush over all the spots that I want. Alright, so we got a reference point. We got a line to make sure our towers are lined up. So the reason why I did that, I think I'm going to make the towers first and then draw the selector around it for the rest of the keep, because I think trying to do the towers with that is going to get really messed up. So let's look at this. Look at the structure that we got. Let me bring this up. So on the hill, we've got 3-tiered structure. The tower is the same height as 2 tiers. So I'm thinking we're going to go with a depth of maybe 4 per layer. And then we've got to build walls around these protectors are on the outside, so maybe 5. So we'll make the towers 10. Yeah, I think that'll work. I wish I had a 3D image of this, because it's hard to tell exactly how some of the stuff lines up in the back, but so we'll make the towers 10 high. Let's see here. All right. Tile set. Gonna go with, not sure, 4. I think 5 is gonna be good, and we're gonna make it a 10 high stack, I think. I think, is that high enough? We're gonna want to do, oh yeah, because they're as high as the 2nd tier, right? Yeah, that should be all right. Let's see, are we straight in line here? I think we are. Go from here. Start on our mark. One, 2, 3. Is that on the tiles at 3 out? Yeah, I think there's a gap of 2. Alright. So 1, 2, there. Alright. There's our start. We got the towers. Now, the first layer needs to go 5 deep. And let's see, these towers do stick out some, so we start it here in the middle, I think. That makes sense. And we'll do it in the middle of the sidewall too. Alright, so I remember the overall shape of this as well. I'm gonna need to move back out here a bit to do this. Okay. Does that look like about the right proportions? I think it does, right? Okay, and we're on the third one here. Are we the same way on this side? Yeah, we're on the third one there as well. Alright, and now we got to remember that we got angled walls here. Alright. Okay. I think we should be good to go 5 deep. I think that whole area needs to go 5 deep, right? That looks like right to me. Alright, back to our tile set tool. And we will make our stack size 5 because we want it to be half the height of the towers. Oh, actually, you know what? I think the way they have it built... Let's look at that build model again. It's hard to tell because it's not 3D, but it kind of looks like that back wall is almost straight. It doesn't look like it sticks that far back off the towers. So I think we actually need to go a little bit deeper with our selection. I think we're probably going to want it I think we're going to want this area, not that. Nope. In that picture, it looks like the tower only sticks out a tiny bit from the back, not as much as it does on the sides. So we're going to have to fill in this area. Alright, that looks pretty good. All right. Use, we got to switch from edit to use selection. We go back to our tile set tool. We've got our brush size can be maxed because it's only going to be drawing what's inside of here. On use, we got stack size. Let's see here. I think that's going to line up the best. Oh, I just screwed up. Ah! Okay. Let's try with the max brush size. Let's see if we can just... Yeah, it doesn't let us move with the brush. Trying to figure out what it is that I do that sometimes allows me to fill the whole area and other times does not. So I really don't understand what the distinction is of when it works and when it doesn't. But maybe I just figured out this problem. If the pointer is over existing tile, it's going to extend the stack. Gotcha. So if I don't want it to go another stack higher, I got to make sure that the brush can overlap, but the pointer, the mouse cursor itself cannot. If the mouse cursor overlaps, then we're going to do what we just did and have to start over. All right, is that covering my whole selection? It kind of looks like it is, right? Okay. So let's take a quick gander at the model again. The model, it looks like the back is going to run right into the towers. The towers don't protrude from the front. The top piece goes in here. So we need to leave a wall and then maybe 5 tiles out. So we're going to deselect. I think I might move for this. It's going to be easier. Do one side at a time. Alright, so we're going to deselect. We're going to start here. That looks like it go... Oh, sorry, you guys are still seeing the model. So we're going to deselect out here. I need to get another place to look at the model so I don't have to keep putting it on your screen. All right. Okay, so this model's actually, I think it's, no, we don't want to select that. I think it's actually a little bit further. It's like almost as wide as the tower, this floor piece. All right, I think that's going to be good. Let's see. So let's cut that out first. And how many tiles did we go? Yeah, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we need to do the same thing on this side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8, 8. Come on. 8. All right. Let's just double check that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. And now we need to take off enough space from the front for the front deck. Let's say that's going to be similar to this. So how many tiles is that? That's going to be the same as a little bit smaller than our tower. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think maybe only 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2, 3, 4, 6. Actually, we're gonna have to go 7. Do this. Do it. Go support them today, please. Do it. Do it. Jake and Coke, do it. All right. So then we need to take off the corners because this also has angled walls, and we're going to do one less row stripped off the corners than we did on the lower level. All right, I think we're good. We're going to do another brush stroke of a stack of 5 to switch back to using selection when we're actually using it. Gonna be tricky to get those little spots in here. Did I just double it up? I sure did. I needed Control Z. Now see, this is horrible. That is going to be really hard to take out of there. Because what happens when you start breaking them to get rid of the extra ones? A lot of times it ends up not being level. All right, I have to take off this use selection. Oh no, you know what? Maybe we need that on. Yeah, that took out our whole selection. And that took out everything. Oh man, come on. All right. It's all right. We should be able to fill this back in. Just be absolutely certain that at no point our cursor ever clicks on anywhere that there's already tiles. All right. And now we actually want to click where there's already tiles because we need to add another 5, but we need to make sure we don't click twice anywhere. All right. That is our second tier, and we got our towers. They protrude just a little bit on the back, a bit more on the sides. That's looking pretty good. Pull up our build model again. So now we need, why isn't this letting me deselect my brush tool? Come on. All right. So we need to unselect all of this. Sure we got nothing selected. And now we need to build our top floor, and that looks like it's got about a half of the space walkway from the back. Do another selector, and that one we're just going to barely nip off the corners on this for the angled part. We got a walkway and we got some space. All right. So we need, I think I might have made this walkway too big. It's gonna be a wall here. Maybe I can just do a wall there as well. So the last tile here needs to be for a wall, and then we need at least 2 tiles open. And then all right, so this is going to be the easiest way to see where we need to do that. We need a wall plus 2 tiles. The building can start here, and then we need at least 2 tiles and a wall. I'm going to go one more than that, actually. Oh, and it helps if we have our edit selection tool turned on. All right, so we can start over again. So wall, walkway 1, walkway 2, corner of the building. And the same thing there. So something like that-ish. One, 2, 3 on that side, 1, 2, 3 back there, and then we're just going to take out our corners. All right, and then we're going to use selection. Going to go to the tile tool set. Make sure use selection is checked. And we might get this one in one go. Look at that. How glorious is that? We got it in one go. Okay. So we have the basic foundation of our keep in place here. That's kind of the shape for the keep at the top. So now I think we need to do walls. So literally just going to select one tile around all these edges all at once. And I think rather than, I'm not going to be 100% faithful. I'm not going to make it like 2 tiles high. Oh God, you guys have been watching this thing forever. Good Lord. Sorry about that. All right, so here we go. Now you can see we got the basics of our shape. So for the walls on the edge, I'm not going to build like 2 high, 1 high, 2 high, 1 high, 2 high, 1 high. I'm going to use the parapets that we have instead, I think. Actually, you know what? I will. Never mind. Forget what I said. Forget what I said. We're just going to go one tile around the entire edge of the whole thing. So we're going to get our editor, and we're going to put one tile high of wall around all the edges. So we're just going to map that out with the selection tool. Oops, not like that though. We don't want those pieces selected. Oh, how is that way over there? It's so weird sometimes. All right. It's a little bit too hard to do that. I'm gonna have to move back to the center. And I'm gonna clean up some of these mobs too, because some of these things can do explosive stuff. They're gonna start breaking bricks. It'd be cool if I had a brush to remove stuff like monsters or terrain objects, because usually, you're never starting with a blank canvas here. You're starting with a procedurally generated space and trying to build something. It'd be a lot quicker to get to blank canvas if there was a brush for units and doodads in the way that there is for terrain, so that we can just, wipe over an area and delete all the units in that area. All right. Go back to edit selection. We're gonna add that square and this wall. All right, that looks good, right? Think so. All right, so we're gonna switch to use selection. We're gonna switch to our tile set tool and take this brush size down to, what the hell, maybe 2. Well, how is 5 map against my character? 5 is overhead, 2 is like the height of a character. Now that might be okay. All right. And let's ramp this up to Kekius Maximus. We want to cover the largest possible area with our brush. Okay, why isn't it not applying? There we go. Whoa, why did it level it? That should not have happened. Oh, we still have a stack size of 5. Oh god, I'm so stupid. Alright, well, I said 2 and then I left it on 5. We'll clean that up afterwards. The tricky thing with this, when you're using the editor, the cursor must be on the selection. Like just having the brush overlapping the selection doesn't cut it. You have to have the cursor on the selection, and you cannot have it on a part of the selection that you've already stacked on, because if you do, the brush can overlap what's already been stacked, but if the cursor overlaps what's already been stacked, then it's going to redraw in all of that area and stack it, and it's going to end up double stacked. Why does that look like it didn't do anything? Did I just rip wall out of there? Oh my. Alright, I think this is gonna require some up close manual construction efforts. Good lord, this is all kinds of messed up. Alright, so trying to paint the whole wall in one go did not work out so well. That's alright, we can fix all this. It's fine. This is fine. Alright. So here, for some reason, I must have selected outside the thing instead of on it. I'm a little bit confused to exactly what actually just happened. Some of this is really weird. There it's just 1. Alright, so we're going to be at this for a while doing some manual editing. That's what's going to happen now. It's the only way we're going to fix this. Get very zoomed in and put the brush exactly where we want it and click. And I think all this was meant to go on top of that wall, but it went in front of the wall. Now we're eating into the floor, which we don't want to do. We want to only be taking out one, but it's taking out two. This is why I said, you know, I stressed that it's really important to try to line everything up and make sure it's right. When I'm building something this big, it really makes it difficult because I really can't get everything well scoped in the size. So let's see, we want this set to level. Hopefully it brings it flush. Yeah, okay. Good. And let's see, let's change this to deposit for a second because we want to try to precisely control what we take out of here. Didn't we only take one bit off the corner? Yeah. Yeah. Ay, ay, ay. It's putting two every time I click. Thank God I have an insane amount of hours in base building in Starfield. This feels like a walk in the park compared to how onerous that was. Nothing wanted to go where you wanted it to in that game. Oh. I don't know why it keeps going to this tile. Something special about that tile? Alright, let's put it back on level because now we do actually want to just match the ones next to it. Alright, so we got our first piece of outer wall done. I believe correctly. Nope. No, we do not. Alright. Do we have a hold? Yeah, we do. Okay. So it looks like at least part of it worked out all right. Part of it went down how we wanted it to. I mean, this looks pretty good, right? That looks like the right height. But this stuff over here is not cool. All right. Yeah, that is all kinds of messed up. Not anything like what it's supposed to be. I don't know what I did. I'm slowly learning, you guys. One day I'll have a clue about how this works. Now, is that too high like all the other stuff? Yeah, it is. Okay. So let's get a little risky here and see if we can see if this will behave as in an expected way. Not exactly. At least it's saving us to, well, we're gonna have to click to build it back up because it only went down one. I mean, it went all the way down to one, rather. That's not what I wanted to do. Okay. And you can hold down the mouse and drag to let do a lot of what I'm doing here, like to if you want to go down the length of a wall. You can totally do that. My problem is my mouse is hyper sensitive, and even just a little bit of variance will send it into the next line over. And if that happens while I'm drawing, then I've got to remove part of that. The part that went outside the lines, as it were. And doing that, sometimes you end up in a situation where it's virtually impossible to get it back to level with the next piece over. Like you add a piece and it's slightly higher, and you take a piece away and it's slightly lower. So I'm sure there's just a nuance that I don't know yet with the tool, but yeah, until I understand how that works and why it does that sometimes, then it's easier. It's easier to just do this and just place them one square at a time when you're doing something that has to be specific. All right, you know what? I might get a little wild here and try to do this back wall with a selection. So let's go to stack size of 2. There's nothing here, right? Yeah, that whole... The heck? How did that get... Alright, we're gonna have to go down there. Also, sometimes monsters spawn and randomly nuke shit. That happens. Especially things that have explosive spells like fireballs and whatnot. Because you have the AI tool, right? And that technically turns them off. But I have yet to figure out how to move inside the editor. So I have to exit the editor when I want to move. I've moved accidentally sometimes in the editor, but I have no idea how or why I did it. Anyway. So yeah, when you move, even if the AI is off, once you leave the editor, I think that the monsters can start acting. All right, we're on level. And it did go higher than what I intended. Okay, so here's a good example, right? You see this right here? That's sticking up higher than the rest of it. Oh, you know what? I think that was my own doing. Okay, let's see if we can do it this way. Okay, so when we knock it out, it keeps taking 2. Which is fine, but when we put it back, we want to just put 1. There we go. Yeah, okay. In this case, it was my own stupidity. Probably a lot of other cases it was too, and I just didn't notice it then. Oh, hey. Thanks, Captain Gus Gus. Appreciate the follow. Hope you're enjoying seeing me figure out this builder. It's an ARPG, but right now I'm in the modding tool. I'm building stuff, so you know, if you were to make a mod for the game, this is the tools that you would use to kind of design the levels, dungeons, castles, whatever it is that you want to put in your mod, or if you want to customize your own server, your own game. So this is Darkhaven, but I'm not actually playing Darkhaven right now. I'm doing world building. Creating a castle. Alright. So maybe let's try this. Let's try it. The worst that can happen is it doesn't work, right? No, I just don't remember if that was 1 or 2 high. You know what? I think oh boy. No, I think I'm gonna start up here. Because the floor looks different than the walls. So I think I'm gonna have to make all the walls higher, because after I put in a stack of floor tiles, it's the wall's not gonna be high enough anymore. So what do we do? Do we do... I think the temple ones kind of have the neatest look to them. The white temple seems out of place here. I wonder if the dark temple would look okay. Let's try to do this with the editor, eh? Move everything from the selection. I think we got everything out. Don't worry, I'm going to go back to the walls. I just think it's important to get the tile in first, because I want to see how much the walls need to go up, if at all. Because I'm thinking I might do something with these. Alright, edit the selection. Okay, and we'll want to use selection. We'll go with a great big brush and hopefully get it done in one stamp. That looks pretty good, huh? Okay, now is when we find out if the sizes that we made these paid off. Oh boy. Yeah, it looks like we picked good math, at least for the top piece. Look at that. Perfect. And it's just about right for the ramparts. Look at that. Boom, baby. All right. So how are we looking down here? That's 2 tiles high. So that's what we need. We need 2 tiles high. We're going to eat up one of them with the floor tile, and then the other one is going to be our protrusion that we put the caps on. All right, so I think I'm ready to try this. What is that guy? He's only level 2. Probably can kill him quickly without too much fuss. I have to switch to delete him. Oh, those guys are nasty. They will start doing stuff that can blow up the keep. So we're just gonna get rid of them this way. Goodbye. All right. Edit selection. And we're going to go to tile set tools. We're going to switch to our cobbled wall piece. And we're going to take a big old brush. I'm going to switch to use selection. And we want stack size of 2. Let's see how that worked out. That looks good. It looks like it worked out how we wanted it to. All right. Suleiman. C'est très bien. Okay. Now let's take this down. Set this to deposit, set the brush size to 1, stack size to 1, and start chipping away. That's still too high, right? Yeah, we want it to be this high. So let's start here and get this even. Level, stack size 1. Why does it always take out double when you're going down? It's so weird. I don't know why it does that. And that is exactly why I usually don't try to draw the lines. It wouldn't be that bad if I could move, like just make micro adjustments with the editor open, but it takes so long to close it, move, pull it back up. I would submit feedback, but I know right at this moment, getting the game and getting little to no bugs and a decent amount of playable content is way more important for these guys to focus on than anything about the builder. So, but at a place in time in the future, when it is time to look at this, I will have a lot of feedback for them. A lot of it good. A lot of it good. Most of it good. Just some things that would make life a lot easier. Oh, hey, look at that. It's going even now. That is, right? That's too high. That's exactly how I want it to be. This is too good to be true. It suddenly started working. Alright. That guy, we're gonna get out of here. Come on, dude, get out. Out, out, all of you. I know you're gonna start climbing the walls if I don't delete you. The AI thing is cool. It would also be really cool if when you're building you could just turn off spawn so that if you deleted them once, they stayed gone. That would be super awesome. Look at these guys up here trying to man the keep. This ain't your keep. This is my keep, you monsters. I ain't giving you no 350. Go on out of here. We can get no 350 from me. Hey. Alright, let's try another. See if we can be successful with another application of the template of the editor selector. Cheesy Pete's. We'll try going big this time. We'll do a curve. We'll do an L. Edit selection. Let's make sure everything from the old one is not any selected anymore. Okay. Edit selection. Start here. Dare we? I think we dare. Okay, good. Good thing I saw that stuff. Alright, that looks like it should be good. So go to Use Selector, go to our tile set. We're on our cobbled wall. And we will go to a Mega Giga Ginormo brush size. Make sure that's selected. Try to get it to where everything's inside the selection. And one tap. That didn't apply anything. That did. Alright. Did it get the right height? No, I only got one. That's alright. We still have our selection selected. Go back, make sure we have Use Selection highlighted. Get everything in the brush and tap. Alright, so when you're careful enough, it can work. I don't know why it went wonky the first time I tried to apply the brush. Let's see here. Oh, it's getting to be a lot of housekeeping, keeping these bogeys at bay. Alright, let's take a look. That all looks pretty good. All right. Oh, can't get up there. Might have made this too high. Oh, we can just cheat, right? Oh, we gotta get close enough to it to... maybe we can't just cheat. I suppose I could always just build something to stand on. Oh yeah, you know what? I'll use the R tool to build something. That way I know I can destroy it without destroying the building underneath it. There we go. Alright, and now we can get back here whenever we want. Alright, look at that! I'd say we got a pretty good start. What do you guys think? Alright? Not too far off. I did do this in offline though. I built Lum in an online game, and I put probably 25 to 30 hours easily into just building stuff in that online game, and I literally prayed at night when I went to bed that I wouldn't DC and lose the online server, because I wanted to invite people to come into the world to see it. But nobody came to check it out, so this time I'm building it in private world so that it doesn't get destroyed, and people just have to enjoy it from the images. At some point in the future, though, we'll be able to have persistent saved worlds. I am going to go do some maintenance of my own real quick. I'm going to grab some coffee, and I will be back in 2 minutes or less. All right, how's that for fast? It's ready sooner than I thought it would be. All right. So, let us get back to work. Luckily, we built this with the builder, so we can just take it out. Actually, you know what? I might just leave it for now. Oh no, I can't, because I gotta put the tile floor down. It is kind of safe to build temporary scaffolding with this build tool instead of the editor, because then you can destroy it without destroying your buildings. God, the spawn rate here is nuts. Out. 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 Need to ask them to add a new one into the game. New crystal, a monster repellent crystal. we can repel gloom and shadow. We need to be able to repel monsters. Maybe it only works when you're in build mode. Come on, you buggers, get out of here. I wouldn't be so worried about it, but the thing is that the monsters also have terrain and building destruction, so you know it can sometimes be a struggle to get things leveled out. So if you got somebody like that guy that I just deleted that rains down fireballs from the sky, he can take huge chunks out of your building. And right now I think they really want the effect, because there's really no building materials that are super durable. So whatever you build with, if it gets hit with a basic attack that has strata damage, it's going to take some damage, which is cool. It's fun for the effect and for showing off the destructible system, but longer term, I think they're going to have to either reduce the damage, strata damage that things do, or give some more durable materials, because I mean, I'm building this keep now, but if that monster dropped a fireball on it, the whole chunk of it would collapse where the fire hit. So siege battles wouldn't last very long like that. It would need a much more durable, like 10, 15, 20 times the amount of hit points in some of these building materials. You know what? You guys should do this. Go support Darkhaven if you haven't already. And if you have already, go tell a friend to do it. Alright. So, let's see. Do we get really risky and try to do a big, huge tile selection and lay all of our tile at once? What do you think? I think we go for it. Or maybe we just do one floor at a time or something. So that it's not a disaster if it goes wrong. Yeah, I think maybe we'll start in chunks. Just in case. Alright, so get everything unselected. I think part of it is sometimes when I'm looking at it, I can't tell how much it's skewed. So I don't know if I really have the right things selected or not. So I think it helps doing small sections where you can actually go and stand there and see exactly what's selected. Alright, I think that's good. Doesn't seem to be anything selected that shouldn't be. So we'll go to our tile set tool, we'll switch over to the Dark Temple, we'll go to use selection. We're around the max size brush, so hit there, hit there. Alright, that looks like it worked out well. Hell yeah, look at that. Awesome possum. Alright, that's gotten me feeling a little more confident to try to take on a bigger chunk for this next go. Oh, come on, so close. No, no cigar. No soup for you. Oh, we're in the shadow. Maybe we'll go on this end first. Just make sure we maintain good visibility. And let's get these crystals out of here. I don't know if those objects can throw off the level of a floor, but I don't want to find out. Same thing for the character. Alright. Back to our tile set. We're going to lay some tile. We're going to edit selection. We're going to make sure everything from the last selection is removed. That appears to be removed. And we're going to edit. That should just be 3 wide, I think. Yeah, that's going on the wall, so that's the right spot. See what I mean about not being able to tell if you're in the right spot? Because of the angle, it looks like you're in the right spot, but you're actually completely not. Alright. And I'm gonna get a little risky here. Is that supposed to be selected? It is. But I didn't see that. Look at that. See where I actually selected when I tried to select here? It's tricky. Gotta pay attention. Alright, you know what? I'm just gonna come back and fill that one in later. I'm not gonna sit here for 20 minutes trying to get it selected. Why is that blue? Did I put a different kind of tile in there? What the heck is that? Oh, it's the shadow. Oh, cool. That's hilarious. Oh my god, that freaked me out for a minute. It's like, what did I do? Did I screw up again? So many monsters. Go away. All right. Maybe let's do that square on the side first. Okay. Let's lay some tile. Use selection. Make sure your whole area is in your brush. Make sure your cursor is not on an area that's already been established. All right. Back to edit selection, remove our selection. Whoops. That would be another feedback item at some point. It would be nice to have the option to have the screen, the game screen, lock the cursor. Are my towers the same on both sides? Let's get this. That all looks good with the tiles. Brush size 1, please. All right. Starting to look like a keep. All right. Let us do the tile down here. Actually, I think I can close that while I'm doing that. Yeah, I can. I don't need that open for the tile selector. Is that on the wall? I can't tell. That is on the wall, isn't it? Okay. Come on! Ugh, look. Oh, it's not there. Perspective is a bitch. Alright. Okay. Let's lay some tile. Big bad brush size. Dark temple tile. Switch to use selection. And let's get a better angle on this to make sure we're getting it where we want it. Well, at least I finally figured that part out. So, just in case you guys missed it when I figured it out, when you're doing that, when you're doing the selection and you're having to use a big brush to try to do it quickly, the cursor won't trigger unless the tile that you click is part of the selection. So if you're trying to select all the walls like I did earlier and you're clicking in the middle, like, you know, if you want to lay it down all these walls and you're clicking somewhere here in the floor and why is my brush feeling that? It's because you have to click in the selection. If you're not clicked in the selection, it will overwrite. Now, having said that, if you have to do an issue where you're stamping multiple times with the brush to paint over whatever you've got on your whole selection, you have to make sure that you don't click on an area that you've already applied to, because if you do, it will apply to that area again, and then things will be all uneven and wonky. So, just watch out for that. Careful of that. Geez, poor little Lum's little hideout over here is so far down from the castle, but I can't do anything about that now. It is where it is. I cannot change the height of this now because everything will go off level. So, it is what it is. This is a castle in the sky. I might just move Lum here. So, he might be fine. His default starting area might become irrelevant. Okay, so now it's time to put the ramparts on all these walls. A little worried about that because last time I tried to select all the walls, it was ugly. So maybe I'll just do straightaways one at a time and then fill in the other parts. Or maybe I'll do it like in quadrants where I think one brush tap could get the whole thing, the whole section. Let's start with this corner. close that. Edit selection. We'll start here. Kind of curious to see how it'll do with the spacing, because when I laid those down earlier, I had to skip every other tile to get it to go in the right places. Oh dear, I forgot to clear the selection. Look at that, I would have put ramparts all the way down the whole freaking castle. Did that get all of it? I think it did. Alright, well I don't want to go too much more than this in one stroke anyway, so go back over here, we'll pop onto this guy, we'll make sure we got a stack size of 1, we'll make sure we switch from edit selection to use selection, and we will scope out a nice spot to click that's going to get as much of our selection in the brush as possible, and still be clicking on an area that's part of the selection. I think this is going to be the spot. That looks all right. That looks not too bad, huh? All right. Edit selection. Unselect all of that. Actually, I guess I could have left that straightaway selected. I'm feeling frisky this time, guys. I'm gonna go bigger. Obviously, the more of this we can paint at once, the faster the build is. And ideally, if you're making a mod or trying to build a whole world, you don't want to be working on one building for days. So, fast is good. You need to be able to build a lot of stuff really fast. I don't see that. I think that maybe we shouldn't do it on different levels at the same time. I wonder if that's why we got the really high. I think I'm going to do one tier at a time. I am afraid that when I hover to the side and see that they don't seem to be going, yeah, see that? That's lining to that top plane. I think it might fill up to there. Oh, it might because I have it on level. Is that what I did earlier? Oh my god, I'm so stupid. That was the problem earlier. It wanted to level it. If I do it on deposit, it's probably going to be fine. This is fine. Alright. Alright, I'm going to try this. If this works out, I might just go really big and try to do the rest of it all with one go. Alright, switch to use selection. Make sure we got a big old brush size. And, oh, it's going to be hard to get everything in the selection and have the brush. Oh, well, we can get a lot of it. Look at that. That worked beautifully. So that's what it was. All right, guys. So next, now you know, if you want to apply, if you're making a selection and you want to apply a single tile across the whole selection, and you've got things on different height planes, make sure you do not have level checked. Because if you do, it will build up your lower plane to the same height as the high plane. So make sure deposit only, and God forbid never do level and padding for a selection like this, at least not based on what I know right now. I'm sure there's a good way to do that. I'm sure it's a useful tool, but right now I'm going to strongly advise against it unless you've experimented on something that you don't care about and figured it out. And if you do figure it out, also, yes, good note. Anybody, if you're watching this and if you're building in the builder in Darkhaven and you have cool tips and tricks, please share them with me. Throw it in the comments, because I would very much love to learn it and to pass it on to other folks. So yeah, if you're in the builder and you found some cool functions or features, or you're seeing me doing something and you're like, why is he doing it that way? Throw it in the comments. Let me know. Also, if anybody has questions, if there's something specific that you're trying to figure out in the builder, please do drop that in the comments. If I can't figure it out, I may pass that question on to other folks who may be able to actually answer it. So maybe we get an answer in Discord, maybe we get an answer in a future video. But in any case, if you got knowledge, share it. If you want to know something, ask. That's what it all comes down to. All right, so let's go back to edit selection. And let's get rid of all this. And now we're going to go Vegas big this time, baby. Actually, maybe not. Maybe we'll do this back wall first. I think I can. I think we can. I think we can roll the dice. I really think we can. Oh, I wonder if level and padding. I wonder if that would make the whole selection fill in from one click. I know at some point, right? At some point I had been doing this and I had a big selection and I clicked it. It was a small brush and it painted the whole selection in one click. And I'll be damned if I can figure out how I did that. I really don't know. I've tried to figure out how that happens and I do not know. Is that an artifact? What is that? Why do I have a shadow moving around with me? Alright. Let's make sure our selection is right. Edit. Do not select that. Do select that and that and that. But the nice thing about doing it with the selection rather than painting and dragging with the brush, I know a lot of people probably be like, why don't you just drag the brush? It's like I was saying earlier, my mouse is extremely sensitive and I haven't figured out yet how to, without adjusting, my mouse, I like it exactly how it is and I don't like adjusting it, because if I do, I might not ever get it back. It took me a lot to make it exactly how it is. Anyway, yeah, so when you're dragging with a brush, if you pop offline even like a tiniest amount, you put a block in another tile, and you might not want to do that, especially with stuff like this, because it can get a little bit wonky trying to get stuff back to level. All right, brush size 10, stack size 1, switch to use selection, not edit selection. And we're going to make sure we get a good view here. And we'll start with this guy. Make sure that we're actually on the wall, because yeah, we're not. Oh. Okay. You know what? I'm going to start with the end that I'm on. I can't, the perspective is really messing with me. I can't figure out if I'm alright, go here. Oh, look at that! It hit the whole thing. Now, can you guys figure out what's different? Like, why is that different? I had it on deposit before, and I had to click the brush multiple times. This time, the whole thing went. It literally painted my whole... That just saved me a ton of time. I need to figure out how to reproduce that. Alright. Let's get a screen grab for a work in progress. You know what? Maybe I should replicate that. I'm just sending a work in progress screenshot here. Should replicate the angle as well as I can. All right, and I think that's gonna do it for this stream. I will come back to this. There will be a part 2, so if you're watching now or if you watch this video later, look for the part 2. We are gonna flesh this bad boy out. We're gonna do what we can to build that whole retaining wall around the bottom. We're gonna try to do some set dressing to kind of make it look similar to what's in there. But yeah. Foundations are down. Stage 1 complete successfully. And yeah, we got it. That's the basics of that keep. All right. So I thank you very much for watching. Whether you're watching live on stream or you're watching this later on a video, I very much appreciate anyone and everyone who watches. Once again, if you got tips or tricks, please share them in the comments. If you got questions about using the editor to build things in the game Darkhaven, go ahead and drop that in the comments. I'm happy to answer or find an answer for you. And with that, I shall see you another time.